Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. I'm Cindy Daychuk with Queen Bee Creations, and today's craft was inspired by this little thrift find. So, little black owl. I have a bigger one, so I thrifted two of them together. We're just using the little one today. And I've had these put aside for the better part of a year almost. And what we're going to do is we're gonna marry him together with a wreath, and I'm gonna do more of like a Halloween inspired wreath because he's black. And so we're gonna be doing a lot of black and a lot of orange and just kind of a little funky. So he's gonna go on later. And I deliberately wanted a wire one because we are going to be tying ribbons on. Now, I kind of hit up the dollar store and I got a bunch of ribbons. I don't think there's tons on these though. So I am a little concerned that it might not be enough. I do have some deco mesh that I could break out and use if I need to. Now, this one is tied on there only because I wanted to get an idea first of length. So this is roughly how far out I want it to stick. And so I just did a sampling of it so that I could untie it. I kind of tied it tight. So I'm gonna untie this one and I'm going to use it as my template if and when I get it untied. I'm gonna use it as a template for cutting my ribbons. Well, at least we know that they like to stay tied on tight. All right. So this one happens to be just a very fine mesh. And I gotta tell you, like the black ribbon was kind of hard to deal with. And this is 10 inches long. So I am going to want to cut all of my ribbons. So I have a bunch of black here. I've got a couple of black here. I've got this little spider webby black, this sparkly black. I have a black with an orange. I have some harlequin orange guys, and I have a couple of funky colored ones, which I may intersperse to add bursts of color. So what I was thinking is I'm going to start out by kind of doing most of the black and then adding the pops of color after, in between everything. Our little owl will get attached toward the end, but I have to see how many of these that I'm going to need because I'm not sure of the fullness. So the first step for me is I'm going to roughly cut my ribbon and create, just kind of have them all set off to the side so then I can get together with the tying. So I'm gonna get ribbons all cut in some various colors, and I think I'm pretty safe to do a whack of them to start because I'm gonna need a whack. And then I will pull you back in overhead and show you how I'm looking to pull this together. But I'm thinking these are fairly short spools, and I may be seriously short on the number. I may have to start hitting up different dollar stores to be able to get the number that I need. We'll see how it goes, especially since I want more of a black base with it, but we can go with different textures of ribbons, so it'll be okay. Let me get a bunch cut, and I'll try and keep track as I attach them. This one, oh, it just kind of came out perfect. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 10-inch ribbons off of one 3 yards. So if I have, that's 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, it's not going to go very far, is it? Well, let's just play with it and see what happens first before I start worrying about it. All right, now that I've got a bunch cut, and I didn't cut it all, just so that if it went further than I thought, I didn't have it all over. But really, all that I'm looking at doing is putting my ribbon through, kind of tying it in half, right? One quick little knot, pulled pretty tight. With the ribbon, as I go, I'm just going to put the 2 halves together, fold them in half, take my scissors, and just give them slight tails so that I don't have it flat. It's all kind of peaked, and I'm just going to continue to do this. And I'm gonna alternate here and there with, this is the one that I had untied at the beginning. But I'm just going to kind of squish them together. This one I'm just gonna, this end I'm just gonna have all black, but you can see, I really think I'm gonna need a whack more ribbon here. So I'm starting this one so it's all the same, but now I'm gonna start alternating with different blacks and interspersing a little bit of the oranges in here and there, and just taking it from there. And I still am able to slide, so I can move these around for now. I can drop in, you know, maybe let's try one of our orange ones before I let you go. But the main part of this all is just getting them tied. Getting your ribbons on there. Oh, doesn't want to stay together. Let me cut twice then. But we're just going to get our ribbons all tied on. I'm just going to carry on. Okay, this is where I'm at so far. I did run out to get more of the black because I'm using it predominantly on this. But the one thing that I thought I'd mention, all of the ribbons that I'm using have wire edges, so that I'm able to, rather than having them all sticking up straight like this, I'm able to scrunch them all down in a way that maybe makes sense. And just kind of going by look as to, you know, when it needs the bling, when it needs maybe a little bit of orange, and there's no set plan to it. I'm just kind of eyeballing. I'm just going by what seems to look best. Now, one of the things that I was thinking is, let me just get that guy stuck into place. Yeah, that balance is off. I needed a little bit of that bling up there. I have been giving some thought to whether I just stick my owl in here and wire him onto the frame, whether I give him a perch. So I did go out into the back parking lot and I did get a dead stick. And I'm thinking maybe I'll use that in there as a switch up, in which case I only need it to about here, and I may have to probably take off these last two little pieces of branches. So I'm going to, I think, kind of deal with this from a just in case perspective. I'm going to break it off here, which I think is longer than I need, but that way I can cut it down shorter later. But let's get that out of the way, and I think this has to go as well. So one of the things I keep are some of these more interesting little branches from the back. And I'm just thinking maybe I need to have that, in which case you're definitely too long. Okay, so I'm gonna go spray paint this black before it starts raining out there. I definitely need different cutters here. So I'm definitely going to take this outside so it's not so stinky. I'm going to spray paint it black. I may not use it, but at least when I get to that part of the project, I'd like to have it on hand, so I'm not having to wait for paint to dry. Wait for paint to dry. It can do its drying while I'm continuing on with attaching my ribbon. So just want to let you know what was happening behind the scenes. Before I finish this last little bit, and I gotta tell you, this has taken a lot more ribbon than I anticipated, especially this black one, because it was predominantly the base. I had lots of the other colored ribbons, but I wanted it a little bit more black than orange or blingy. But before I do that, I have my branch, and what I want to do is kind of get it nestled in there, and I want to get my owl wired in there too, so that they are fully attached, and if I need to adjust some of the ribbons and I don't need quite as much, then I can, because I've been to 3 Dollar Trees getting this ribbon, and that's all they have. That's all my local ones have. And I'm kind of going, I need to make it last. So I'm going to use a bit of wire to attach in my stick. And then I'm going to do the same to attach in the owl. Let me just... This is just an aluminum wire, so it's actually quite soft and easy to manipulate. I just want to get a pair of pliers to kind of bend this over a bit so I don't have sharp edges sticking out. And that's actually, oops. Slide it down just a little. And then I'm going to take the owl and I'm going to nestle him down like that. So I'm going to get him wired down. I think it should work just with the feet. And then I'm going to finish off this little base. Well, I have to tell you, after all the ribbon, I had, and I attached the stick and the owl. I had debated and considered adding in some pumpkins. Now these ones were too orange. They just orange. I had these little kind of jeweled ones that I thought would work, and I got out some little, you know, orange picks, and I had some little gourds, and I thought that I would put them in around the feet, and kind of he's standing in or nesting in these things. And I kind of laid them out, and I hated it. I'm thinking it's done just as it is. So I think that it's just, you know, kind of move stuff around a little, but I think that's it. I think it's just the wreath and the black owl and the stick. And I think it's done. I think that there's enough little bling. I think that adding in florals would be wrong. I think that adding in a big bow would be weird. I think that the pumpkins don't work. I think it's just enough. I think sometimes you just have to call it quits. And I think that this just is it. And he's just fabulous enough as he is, and he's got a blingy frame, and I think it's done. So I think that ultimately the black that I used 3, 4, 7, 9 spools. I probably would have liked 11. And then the other little colors popped in there, but those ones aren't critical in terms of number, because you know, you just have different ones and you space them out. The black you needed to have the black one framed. I had one glittery black ribbon that I kind of interspersed here and there, but it was that one ribbon from Dollar Tree that I needed. And man, plan ahead, buy lots. I bought as many as the stores had at the time I was in there. I cleaned out 3 stores. So it seems it was a popular ribbon because they didn't have a lot of that particular color of ribbon. And I just didn't want tons of orange. I wanted it predominantly black with a little bit of color and bling here and there. So I think for me and what I intended, the balance is right, but you probably noticed 3 different shirts over the course of this video because it was 3 different days. I had to keep going out and trying to find ribbon, and I just can't leave the store whenever I feel like it. So it was a little bit frustrating, but I'm happy with the result, and that's what matters in the long run. Let me know if you've done kind of a ribbon wreath like this, if you had any frustrations along the way. Certainly let me know what you think about it now that it's all finished. Love to always hear your comments and your ideas, suggestions. I'm open to everything. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Until then, take care.